Barkley looking for a seam. Great cut. Saquon Barkley in for the touchdown.
With just one game remaining in Super Wildcard Weekend, it was everything that we had hoped for, including one of the biggest comeback wins in NFL history.
You know, Lloyd, just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself!
And as you can imagine, the players from the winning team's values have gone up. But more importantly, what we do here is look at which of their cards have gone up and by how much have they gone up. So let's dig into the eBay sold data and the top players going up after Wild Card Saturday and Sunday. Let's dig in. Number one, the San Francisco 49ers turned a 1-point deficit at halftime into a dominant 41-23 victory over the Seattle Seahawks. A third quarter Charles Omenihu strip sack in the red zone was recovered by Nick Bosa, appeared to seriously turn the tide for the 49ers' favor. The Seahawks were driving to take the lead with a touchdown. And Brock Purdy continues to put forward winning performances as he finished 18 of 30 for 332 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. And while it's fair to say that Purdy is significantly aided by an outstanding surrounding cast, in addition to head coach Kyle Shanahan, effective play design, the rookie quarterback deserves to be praised for avoiding negatives and allowing San Francisco's skill weapons to flourish. And just like we predicted and we called out on the Auction Sniper live stream last week, we pointed out a base mosaic Brock Purdy and a buy it now for $40. Well, those are now selling for $70 on average. The Prestige Chronicles college uniform card is now up to about $42. As you can see, the red variant from Mosaic, about $200 yesterday. If we go today, I actually found some new cards that are out, including the Spectra base for Brock Purdy, going around $130 in a buy it now today, Monday, January 16th. And the sold items continue to flow out of eBay Marketplace for Brock Purdy at an elevated price point, including an auction that ended today for almost $80 on that base Mosaic. It's important to note they also have coaches' tickets. Do not sleep on these cards, guys. You can see Kyle Shanahan's coach's ticket out of 10 going for a couple $100. Out of 49 here, $250 Jan 8th. There was that sold transaction yesterday on that gold out of 10. We've got an offensive spotlight on Deebo Samuel in this game and Seattle Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf. They both put on a show. Each of them finished with at least 125 receiving yards, a touchdown. And Deebo Samuel totaled 6 receptions for 133 yards and a touchdown, including a 74-yard catch and run that put the 49ers up by 3 scores in the fourth quarter. Deebo also forced 2 missed tackles after the catch, in addition to adding 32 rushing yards from 3 carries. True 2021 Deebo Samuel fashion. And you can see his autograph stuff, even from lesser desirable sets like this plain giant patch here from XR, numbered out of 49 with a sticker auto, still going for close to $100, or even horizontally formatted bowl ticket college uniform card here going for $60 today. If we look at his graded card market, his most popular card is that base Prism, currently a trend of around $70 with a pop of 729 on the 10s, 329 on the 9s, so it's got a high gem rate. And that's how you know that the demand is popping for Deebo right now. Of course, $75 buy it now, $60 buy it now, and they've just been kind of climbing there. $75 buy it now, up from a Friday, January 13th of a $60 buy it now, and a auction last Monday that ended for $49. Christian McCaffrey also ripped off a 68-yard run early in the game and ended the day with 7.9 yards per carry, while also grabbing a touchdown through the air. Pretty pedestrian day for Christian McCaffrey, but a vital component of that offensive attack from the 49ers. And check out his XRC PSA 10 185 in auction yesterday. A lot of smaller cards popping off, including, some college uniform cards from Stanford or Panini or Base Select. Tricolor Select PSA 10, almost 170. There's a beautiful Optic Holo PSA 10 for about 150 or base Donruss with a event signed autograph authenticated here from Beckett for close to $100. I looked at his graded card market as well and see that it is absolutely trending up, including average 125 on the Prism, average of 81 on the Optic. Auction Sunday night that closed for $75 compared to a buy it now roughly 13 minutes apart for $90. However, if you had your auction ending Saturday night for Christian McCaffrey when he was more hyper relevant, you would have maximized your profit. You can see this auction that ended at 8 p.m. Saturday night, getting $107.50 out of that base Optic PSA 10. Now, real quick, if you're new here, welcome to the Football Card Quest. My name is Andy. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to stay tuned for all the latest and greatest storylines in the NFL and specifically how that impacts the football card market. And we also definitely talk about some fantasy football and sports betting strategy as well. And if you want to access that web app that you just saw that tracks all of graded football card sales through eBay, definitely check it out in the description below, patreon.com/footballcards. We've also got access to a Discord server, monthly giveaways, and written content on a weekly basis, plus some more. So definitely want to check that out. Stay tuned. Now back to the action. It's important to know that even in a losing effort, DK Metcalf was outstanding, totaling 10 receptions for 136 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Impressively, DK Metcalf caught 4 of his 5 contested targets in addition to forcing a missed tackle after the catch. Check out this Elements that sold for $103 yesterday. His rookie ticket auto sealed by Panini here. It's also important to note that little seal right there will add a little bit of value to the card. Still going for over $100 in an auction yesterday, January 15th, for $115 even after the team was eliminated. Moving on to a comeback for the ages. The Jags fell behind 27-0 against the Los Angeles Chargers late in the second quarter Saturday night. They stormed back, guys, to win 31-30 on a game-winning field goal with no time left. It was the third largest comeback in NFL postseason history. The Jaguars are now heading on the road to face the top-seeded Kansas City Chiefs. No player personified the phrase "a tale of two halves" more than Jags quarterback Trevor Lawrence. The second-year quarterback was absolutely atrocious in the first half, throwing 4 INTs and earning just a 24.5 passer rating. He was absolutely surgical in the second half, throwing 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, with a 144.5 passer rating. And someone had to have it, a Black Pandora 02 out of 25 downtown from 2021 Optic rookie Trevor Lawrence for $5,000. Got the college ticket here, Blue Shimmer 16 out of 27. Jersey number match, you can see that got up to $309. The standard raw downtown for Trevor Lawrence closing for $730 in auction today. One of the cards I love to look at for Trevor Lawrence is the 2021 Optic Holo. This is a card that's not super common, but also not super rare. It kind of fits in that middle. It's got a lot of really nice attributes, including that rated rookie logo, thick chrome finish, and silver prism finish. And when I look at these cards, I can get quite a bit of transactions, so I get a good idea of where these are at. And also note that the base photo variation is more popular than the portrait photo variation, as you'll see right here from this one that closed January 14th for $78 compared to some of the other ones that closed January 14th for $60, $76, $45, $75, kind of bouncing around there. That was an interesting one, but $37, $47, $65. So they typically had on average about a $50 resale value. And if I fast forward to today after this game, we've got one today that sold for $80 in a buy it now, but then an auction that closed last night for $122.50. Another buy it now that sold for $60. Another auction that closed yesterday for $129.50. And then a couple more auctions, but the average you can see now in auction about $120 on that card. There's a PSA 9 that sold for $100, so definitely a really nice increase there. And just looking at Trevor Lawrence's graded card market as a whole, his base Donruss up 20%, base Optic 27%, Press Proof Premium still a very popular card. I think it's also due to the fact it's got a healthy pop report at 346. But I mean, we had a buy it nows in the last 2 days, and like 240 yesterday, but then another one for 350. So you could see like people are definitely impulsively buying Trevor Lawrence rookie cards right now, even though they are going up against the number 1 seed Chiefs this upcoming week. 180 in auction, 192 Saturday, 7 p.m. before the game. But then after the game, you can see the massive jump there at right after midnight. Someone was feeling really good, grabbed themselves one for 350 in a buy it now. Had to have it, right? That teal optic laser or green velocity up almost 30%. Really nice color match card here. Look at the buy it now difference between Sunday 8:57 a.m. to Sunday 10:05 a.m. Just, you know, from Wednesday January 11th at 300 to then 350, 450. You can see how it could be hard to comp these cards out. Some people aren't even comping out to make sure they're getting a good deal. They're just buying impulsively, wanting to get that immediate gratification. Travis Etienne was also very efficient on the night, totaling 109 yards. That was a 5.4 yards per carry. He even converted that 4th and 1 towards the end. That was a Doug Peterson play calling masterclass when they all thought they were going to do a QB sneak, and Trevor Lawrence hands it off to Etienne. He bounces it to the outside to get a clutch first down. A lot of volume for the young man. Card prices are very favorable, but a lot of it's due to his position and the fact that Trevor Lawrence steals a ton of the limelight and kind of the face of that franchise. So you can see like Optic out of 150, yeah, they're being sold to buy it now for about $50. Now, when it came to the Bills versus Miami Dolphins on Sunday, it looked like that 13.5 spread after the first quarter was way too small for what was transpiring on the football field, but Mike McDaniels knows Miami Dolphins, including that 7th round draft pick Skylar Thompson, gave a fight, man. Dolphins battled back after a number of turnovers to make it a game. But in the end, the Buffalo Bills iced the 34-31 win to move on to the divisional round. The offensive spotlight here was on Josh Allen, and this was as full of a Josh Allen experience if I've ever seen it. 6 big-time throws, 2 turnover-worthy plays, and multiple first downs with his legs. The wow plays were prevalent on both ends of the spectrum. You can see his base Prism selling in a buy it now for $600. It's PSA 10. Want to show this one right here. Very important. It's a base Donruss rated rookie in an SGC 10 slab going for $275 Sunday, January 15th. That's a very impressive transaction when you look at Josh Allen's graded card market. Look at the base Donruss. The PSA 10 on average is $275. So to see the SGC 10 get the same respect as a PSA 10 in this scenario, quite impressive, quite revealing, in fact. And you could see the difference in some of these auctions here from the hyper relevancy from game time to later in Sunday night, when a lot of people are focused on the Sunday night game between the Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals, which was really close as well. All in all, that Josh Allen market is inching up, including that scorecard here with that college uniform, but it does have the RC Shield. It is graded by PSA 10. That bad boy is inching up to a $140 buy it now at this point. Only a population of 62. The 1 month on his Optic Hollow PSA 10 up from an auction where you could have got Thursday, December 22nd for $1,300 to a buy it now Monday, January 16th. Of $1,675, only a pop of 217 on the 10s, 209s on the 9s, and 29.8. So tough to get a 10 on that 2018 Optic Hollow. Many of those big time throws from Josh Allen went to big game Gabe Davis, playoff Gabe Davis. He was back in his playoff form from a year ago. It's like this guy turns on in the playoffs. He hauled in 6 of his 9 targets for 113 yards and a score. In his last 3 playoff games, Gabe Davis now has 355 yards and 6 scores. So he's pretty much become a playoff flip gold mine here. A lot of transactions going down for Gabe Davis between yesterday and today. A lot of people were timing those in auction as well, which was really smart, seeing as how playoff game is becoming a real thing. Stephon Diggs also, of course, had another solid outing, over 100 yards, but the touchdowns went to Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox, Cole Beasley got him one, and James Cook got involved there as well. I'm always finding these veteran cards like this 2021 Mosaic Honeycomb Stephon Diggs here. In addition to stuff like this, which immaculate collection here out of 99, but plain color patch autograph, $89. Here's a really cool Chase / Grail card for Stephon Diggs in the Bills uniform. Got the black color blast here from 2021 Obsidian. Case hit, PSA 9. Really sick horizontal card. One of the coolest horizontally formatted cards you'll find out there in the market is the color blast. This bad boy closed for $460 yesterday in auction. Next up is probably the guys got the cards going up the most because they came into this past weekend at the lowest, and that is Daniel Jones from the New York Giants, because they sprung the playoff upset, knocking off the Minnesota Vikings 31-24 in the wild card round. Daniel Jones led the Giants in rushing with 78 yards, as well as posting over 300 passing yards. He carried the ball 17 times in total and came up big in multiple key spots against a struggling Vikings defense. And now you can see his base Prism PSA 10 up 50% to a new high of $100 today in auction. Of course, I sold my silver Prism for over a double up profit, which we'll talk about later in the week. So I hope you guys got in on that Daniel Jones hype train before this past weekend, because you're sitting on a really nice profit. Saquon also did his fair share of damage on the Vikings, totaling over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns from scrimmage. So finding a lot of transactions for Saquon as well, just at a little bit lower price tier than obviously guys like Josh Allen from 2018, but pretty much like still, even if you were to compare Saquon to Lamar Jackson, I think it's a very interesting comparison. You still have Saquon going for a little bit lower than Lamar on average trend for Saquon. You can see the increase there on the Prism, which is probably next to the Donruss rated rookie going to be his most popular card in the market. And look at that difference from Wednesday, January 11th, 8:30 p.m. auction Prism PSA 10, $33 to an auction last night for $98, or a buy it now yesterday for $75. I mean, really big time flip consideration. Targeting some of these auction soft spots here for Saquon, now on a playoff team. Big focal point of that offense. There's even a buy it now for $34 back on December 18th. And talk about the 4-5x flip potential in that bad boy. Daniel Jones has now surpassed that of Kyler Murray significantly by quite a large margin here. In fact, you can see the Daniel Jones cards are up across the board, guys, including the trend, except for if you notice there's quite a bit of a dichotomy between the base Donruss and the Prism. The trend on the Kyler Murray Prism still at $91. That's because, man, look, there's a $175 transaction on Kyler Murray PSA 10. That was Saturday at 3:23 a.m. So somebody definitely way overpaid for it in the wee hours of the night. But typically, I think that card's around $60, probably about the same as the Daniel Jones. Very interesting dichotomy there. But from what Daniel Jones has showed us this year, I really like the upside in this young man, and I hope you guys definitely got exposure to him earlier before this point. I sold some of my Daniel Jones before the season. Wish I would have held them, but I'm glad I bought more in December whenever I wrote him up. I also talked about him a few times, several videos, so definitely happy about that call, that play that we made. Prism Auto PSA 10 up to $600. Pretty big jump, man, from the average of $280 January 13th, $275, and then you go to $599 after the win. Very nice flip there in the Silver Prism Auto PSA 10. Last but certainly not least, we've got the Cincinnati Bengals fending off the Ravens in the Queen City to move on to the divisional rounds It was a fairly conservative outing from Cincinnati, and Joe Burrow, who posted just a 6.3 yard average depth of target and 0 big time throws for the game. Some of this had to do with the soft coverage being played by Baltimore, or the fact they absolutely dominated the time of possession, but ultimately I think the biggest reason was the weakness along the offensive line. Being without Alex Kappa and Lyle Collins, Burrow helped take stress off the group by getting the ball out quickly and decisively, as evidenced by his 2.54 second average time to throw for the game. He also didn't put the ball in harm's way, recording 0 turnover-worthy plays in the contest, which is important. He displayed his escape artist abilities once again on a few plays, turn those into positives. Once again, I'm looking at the optic holo because I love the ideal spot in terms of scarcity and desirability. And it's got a healthy pop report. So what I've done is dialed in on that search and go over to 130 point because it'll really filter out and also show you what the best offers were accepted at. And I've got one today at 150. Then I've got one yesterday at 105, which typically in an auction at 102. But when I look at this one, I could see it's clearly off center. And then when I look at this one, I'm like, man, that one looks to be very good. But upon further inspection and all the photographs, I find that there was a dimple in the card that was identified in the listing. So that's what affects. It's very important to look at the photos closely on raw listings to identify why one may have sold way less or more than another. But overall in the Joe Burrow market, the base Prism PSA 10 holding strong, just trickling upwards in value, now up to about $230. You've got the base Donruss now up to about $150. So let's compare him to the last man standing in the playoffs from the 2020 draft class in terms of quarterbacks, and that's Jalen Hurts. And you can see Jalen Hurts' values have definitely cooled off now. And that presents an interesting opportunity because Jalen Hurts has such a lower population on his graded cards than Joe Burrow as well. But man, I'll tell you what, that base Donruss holds very strong. Still a very popular card, but Jalen Hurts so firmly half that of Joe Burrow here. As you can see though, if you go back and look at the 1 year chart, I mean, there's still a lot of opportunity for growth in both Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts if they make it further in the playoffs here, progress. Jamar Chase was the target leader in this game, going 9 receptions for 84 yards, including the touchdown. A lot of people aren't fans of the photo that they chose for Jamar Chase's Prism rookie card, but this purple power out of 49 sold for $340 last night in auction. Whereas this Panini 1 Precision RPA blue out of 25 got an autograph and a nice 3-color patch, sold for $395 in a buy it now. If you look at the Jamar Chase optic holo, you also have those 2 photo variations between the portrait and the action pose here, and I'll just tell you guys once again, the portraits go for less than the action poses, even though the portraits seem to be slightly more rare than the action poses. His optic holo only going for about $18 to $20. I definitely think these have room for growth at that price point over the next year or so, especially right in the immediate term if they progress into the playoffs. Just looking at the values of Trevor Lawrence or even comparing it to the Justin Jefferson optic holo values, this is a really cool PSA 10 event signed Jamar Chase autograph here. $640 sold transaction back on January 11th. Who is going to play the 49ers in the divisional round between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys will be decided tonight, and I am super excited about that, looking forward to that. If you guys don't know, I am here in Tampa Bay. Go Bucks, baby. Lifelong Buccaneer fan, so gotta believe in a dream that Tom Brady brings to the team, and hopefully we can get through the divisional round ourselves. But until then, guys, I will see you guys in that next video. Peace.